What if I told you that Doug Christie, the calm, calculated NBA veteran known for his discipline on and off the court, just detonated his entire public image in broad daylight? Not in an interview, not in a carefully crafted press release, but right there in the open, with fists flying, cameras rolling, and the internet waiting to devour every frame. The trigger? A secret so foul, so intimate, that it shattered decades of loyalty in seconds. The leaked sex tape of his wife, Jackie Christie, and his former best friend, Chris Webber. Yes, that tape, the one so many claimed didn't exist, turns out it was real all along. Worse still, a DNA test confirmed the unthinkable. Chantel, the daughter Doug believed he'd raised as his own for over 20 years, was biologically Chris Webber's. That revelation was the match that lit the fire. Within hours of discovering the truth, Doug tracked Chris down outside a luxury hotel in Los Angeles. Witnesses say there was no dramatic screaming, no warning. He lunged straight at him, shoving him hard, and when Chris attempted to walk away, Doug allegedly landed a brutal right hook that sent him crashing to the pavement. Webber's security called paramedics before the police even arrived, and the whole thing? Captured in crystal clarity, uploaded to the internet, and trending in 37 countries before breakfast. Doug Christie, arrested for felony assault and battery. Chris Webber, hospitalized with visible injuries. Jackie Christie, completely silent. This wasn't a scandal. It was a public implosion, the kind that burns reputations down to ash. The spark was simple. A DNA test and a leaked video. For months there had been whispers, rumors that Jackie and Chris had history. But the whispers didn't tell the whole story, because according to insiders close to the investigation, that history never ended. One anonymous source, reportedly terrified of Jackie's wrath, revealed that the clip was recorded years ago during an NBA All-Star weekend gone catastrophically wrong. Just 47 seconds long, it was uploaded to a shady site at 3:41 a.m., reshared instantly, and dissected frame by frame like a crime scene. By 7 a.m., Doug had already made his move, not by calling a lawyer, not by confronting Jackie, but by going directly after Chris. Eyewitnesses at the W Hotel in West Hollywood say Doug stormed in like a man with nothing left to lose. Security tried to hold him back and failed. Chris had just stepped out of a black SUV when Doug swung, shouting something that witnesses interpreted as, "You filmed it! You filmed that!" A valet caught the scene on video, uploaded it to TikTok, and it racked up over 12 million views in under 10 hours. The footage shows Doug pinning Chris to the sidewalk, fists flying, until two security guards finally pulled him off. Chris, dazed and bleeding, was ushered into the lobby to await paramedics. Jackie? She was reportedly on a flight to Atlanta, booked just hours before the footage dropped. A coincidence or a carefully planned escape? LAPD arrived quickly. Doug was handcuffed on camera, stuffed into the back of a squad car, and driven away. The arrest footage ricocheted across social media. ESPN, TMZ, VH1, even former NBA players chimed in. Steven Jackson posted the arrest clip with the caption, "Told y'all Jackie was dangerous. Now look at my boy Doug." Chris Webber's team issued a curt statement. Chris is recovering. No further comment. Doug's lawyers? Silent. Jackie? Posting old selfies like nothing had happened. And Chantel? She dropped a single tweet. Everything in the dark comes to light. That tweet alone sent shockwaves. But the DNA test, that was the nuclear core of this detonation. Weeks earlier, Doug had quietly hired a private investigator after hearing murmurs in locker rooms and whispers from ex-players and even a producer from Basketball Wives that Chantel might not be his biological child. He brushed it off until someone handed him a blurry 2001 photo of Jackie and Chris at a hotel bar, time-stamped months before Chantel's birth. That's when Doug quietly filed for a paternity test. The results, a 99.9987% match with Chris Webber. Doug held that information for 48 hours. Then the tape leaked. Was that timing random? Maybe. Or maybe it was the final insult in a decades-long betrayal. Now the internet couldn't look away. The scandal was everywhere. Doug's mugshot, Chris's swollen jaw, Jackie's frozen smile plastered onto memes. Twitter was merciless. Instagram worse. TikTok users remixed Doug's attack to the Mortal Kombat Finish Him sound, pulling in millions of views. But the chaos wasn't just digital, it was legal. Chris suffered a mild concussion, a fractured cheekbone, and deep bruising. His legal team hinted at both criminal and civil action. Doug's bail was set at $250,000. In custody, he refused to speak to anyone, Jackie, the media, even his lawyer, except to repeat one haunting line. By the time Doug Christie was arraigned in Los Angeles County Court, the internet had divided into two fierce camps. On one side, where Team Doug defended him as a broken man finally pushed too far, a loyal husband blindsided by betrayal. On the other, Hun Team Chris painted him as an example of toxic masculinity caught in 4K. Jackie Christie. She didn't get a team, she got a subreddit, Ruin of a Queen, dedicated to dissecting every move she'd ever made. The courtroom scene was electric. Reporters packed the benches, security stood like statues, and the air was thick with the scent of drama. Jackie arrived draped in a black lace gown, walking like she owned the place. Chris Webber rolled in wearing a neck brace, flanked by assistants and a lawyer whose tailored suits screamed expensive. And Doug? He entered in handcuffs, wearing a charcoal suit and an expression carved from stone, a man ready for war. The witness list dropped like a bombshell. First up, Jackie. She took the stand, her voice calm, her eyes dry. "I didn't know the video still existed," she said. "I didn't know Doug had seen it. I never wanted this." Her lawyer tried to shut her down, but she kept talking. "Yes, it happened. Yes, I lied. But I never wanted to hurt him. Doug raised Chantel because he is her father, not by DNA, but by everything else that matters." Some in the room teared up, others scoffed. Doug didn't flinch. Then the judge asked the question that hung in the air like a guillotine. "Did you ever tell Doug Christie he might not be Chantel's biological father?" Jackie froze. 11 seconds of silence felt like an eternity before she whispered, "No." Mic drop. Doug's lawyer snapped the evidence folder shut with finality. Next up was Chantel. She walked in with no makeup, no theatrics, just raw honesty. "I didn't choose this. I didn't ask for my life to be a headline, but I deserved the truth. Now I don't know who to trust." She spoke about Doug raising her, about the love she still had for him, about the pain in his eyes. The room was silent except for the faint sound of people sniffling. Then came Doug. He didn't sit. He stood, facing Jackie, Chris, and the judge. "I'm sorry for the violence," he began. "I lost control. But I'm not sorry for wanting the truth. I gave my life to this woman. I gave my name to a daughter I thought was mine. I stayed silent to protect my family while they laughed behind my back. That ends today." The courtroom erupted. The judge banged his gavel, reporters bolted for the doors, and social media exploded. Doug was sentenced to 90 days in county jail, with credit for time served, plus mandatory anger management. But more importantly, the judge granted his right to sue Jackie for emotional fraud, opening the door to a civil case that could cost her millions and obliterate her VH1 career. Chris Webber left without a word, shielding his face behind a newspaper. Jackie vanished through a side exit, refusing to answer questions. Doug gave Chantel a small nod before being led away. In the days that followed, Jackie deleted her Instagram. VH1 froze production on her rumored spin-off. Chantel reportedly moved in with Doug's sister. Chris began legal proceedings against the hotel for the leak, claiming privacy violations and emotional trauma. And then came the final twist. Doug's handwritten prison statement leaked to the press. "They made me raise a lie. They built a family on betrayal. I'm walking out clean. They're the ones still stuck in the mess." The words hit like a sledgehammer. The public couldn't agree on who the true villain was. Some said Doug crossed a line the moment he swung. Others argued Jackie committed the ultimate betrayal, letting another man raise her child in ignorance. And then there were those who pointed at Chris, saying a true friend would never stay silent while another man's life was built on a lie. The legal fallout wasn't over. Civil court dates loomed. Doug's legal team prepared to unleash decades of receipts, emails, hotel bills, private messages, anything to prove that Jackie not only knew the truth, but deliberately hid it to protect her brand and secure her marriage. Chris, meanwhile, faced whispers from the past, cheating rumors from 2003, allegations from 2007 involving hush money. Old wounds were being ripped open in public, with the internet acting as judge, jury, and executioner. Jackie's former assistant gave an interview to a gossip blog, claiming she'd seen the paternity documents years earlier. "She knew," the assistant said bluntly. "She knew, and she didn't care. She liked the way it looked. Perfect NBA wife, perfect family. It was all a script. Meanwhile, producers scrambled. Mona Scott Young reportedly pitched a 3-part reunion special where Doug, Jackie, Chris, and Chantel would sit down together. Social media users begged Doug not to agree. "Don't let them turn your pain into ratings," one viral comment read. But Doug wasn't biting, at least not yet. Chantel, on the other,